So, first of all, then, what is your abiding memory of working on Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Oh goodness, one of, I have to say, in terms of on camera, off camera, length of time, story, people, certainly one of the most joyous productions I've ever been on. I've never been on a movie with so many different genres in the story. I was there in France for 5 months plus, I don't know, 16, 18 different locations, all
very long shoot. Yes.
Long shoot. But it was fun. And in all but one day, actually in the elements or on location. Only one day did I shoot in the studio. So it was just a huge adventure, a joyous adventure on camera, in the story, and then just living, off camera, preparing my best to do my character justice. It was just fantastic, a huge roller coaster ride from beginning to end.
Fantastic. Christoph Gans. You've worked with him more than once, because Crying Freeman as well.
Yes.
Probably the first. Crying Freeman was probably the first film I kind of noticed you in, although I did work at a video rental shop in the 90s, so American Samurai was flying off the shelves.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
So I remember that one, but Crying Freeman really impressed me, and likewise Brotherhood of the Wolf, both same director. What was he like to work with? What sort of direction did he give?
The thing is with Christoph is that, so he's very specific on everything, and I think he does he does so much of his direction and directing in the casting. I'll share a little story. When we did Brotherhood of the Wolf, one of the actors was a little concerned because they weren't getting any direction, after 3 days of filming from Christoph. And I said, then you're doing great, because having worked with him on Crying Freeman, he only says something if he wants to steer you in a slightly different angle or do something different. But if he's not saying anything, just keep doing what you're doing, And I really feel like he takes, a lot of time. That's the thing, is that he takes a lot of time researching and finding, the actors, so that he doesn't have to direct, And then in terms of Brotherhood of the Wolf, I remember, the costumes, and he had a hand in everything in terms of, this velvet and this color and this and that. I mean, he is so hands-on and specific, yeah.
So all in the planning, really. So it's sort of mainly in the planning, and a lot of trust to the actors. You wouldn't be there if you didn't think you were doing it right. Yeah.
Correct. For example, and my wife is here eavesdropping, but she was the lead girl from Crying Freeman, Imo O'Hara. And I remember, for example, when Christoph was working on casting that, I flew up a few weeks early to meet with him, and then I flew back to LA and then back up. But when I went up, he was so excited to show me Julie's audition, and it was crazy because, usually for conventional auditions, you stay, you're mid close up, right? But he had mid close up, and then as the scene got more intense, he went up and just zoomed in on like her eyes, like that right there, and you could see the emotion build up in the audition in her eyes, and then she, it was intense. But he was my point is, he doesn't do anything conventionally, you know what I mean? or rather he made you a touch of that, but then he goes from here, even on the audition, and then he zoomed in on her eyeballs. You just saw the eyes, you know what I mean? And the great thing is she's got great eyes and she had great emotion and she got the job, you know? But he is so specific with everything and so passionate. And you know, if you know, before he was a director, he was a journalist. So he has seen thousands and thousands of movies and can talk about each one in depth, you know, so he knows what he's doing. And yes, so back to the preparation, he prepares as, you know, as thoroughly as possible, and then he lets us out of the gates and we go.
So bringing it back around then from the director to the performer, to yourself, and Manny is the character. He's such a sort of very minimal dialogue for one thing. So all of the acting is in your posture and the way you move and expressions. Yeah, he comes across as a really deep character with a spiritual depth and a kind of he's on the side of spiritual correctness or spiritual right. The good guys in this. It did seem quite spiritual, which is very fitting for that character. And I remember reading somewhere that you originally was thinking of becoming a monk. I mean, were you drawing on that spiritual? I mean, you obviously bring that sort of spiritual culture, the sort of samurai and the discipline and the martial arts side of it. But yeah, so is this true? You were once considering being a monk until you saw your wife?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear her, Remy? She said yes. Yes. You know, so I was born in Hawaii, spent some until I was 6, spent a few years in Colorado, and then by age 12, my family had moved us to Hamburg, Germany. I was going to school there at 16 or 17. I had seen Jet Li in his first movie, The Shaolin Temple, and I was just mesmerized and enamored with him and his skills and his life. I thought, that's me. You know, he does martial arts. He's being good to himself and therefore taking that energy and spirit and helping other people, being a monk, a Shaolin monk. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. So at 17, I actually moved to Taipei, Taiwan, to study the Chinese language, to study martial arts, with hopes of eventually joining a Buddhist temple, or specifically the Shaolin Temple. You know, of course, cut to, I met my wife and couldn't be a monk, you know, so there. How's that, Jamie?
That's good.
That's good. Okay. But yes, so you know, the thing with Manny is that he doesn't speak a whole lot verbally, but yes, I like to feel like he had physical dialogue. It's physical dialogue. You know, you see it in his eyes, what matters to him. You see it in his physicality. He's speaking with his body. I mean, I actually think we all do that, but we try to get away with using more words. But if you really look at people, you see their lives and you see what they're really saying, you know, in their eyes, in their motion, in their posture, in their breath. You see it all.
So that's quite a nice little sort of circular thing. You were kind of attracted to martial arts through the films. You end up trained, and then you end up becoming a martial arts star in films.
Thank you. Yeah, and Remy, real quick, let me interject, please, that my parents are Kung Fu teachers, so there was no way getting away from it. They literally, I don't know if I would have, on my own volition, entered martial arts tournaments, but at 6 years old, they told my brother and I have 2 brothers, but they told he's younger than me, but older than our other one. Yeah, they told us that we will be entering tournaments. So yeah, there was no way around it. So the martial arts was in there from the beginning, and then, you know, movies, and then back to martial arts. So yes, it does go full circle.
Once talking about martial arts, and of course, as soon as you mention Kung Fu or martial arts, you think of Bruce Lee.
Yes.
And I'm not sure whether I may be the first person to bring this up. If you'd be doing a series of interviews with anyone else from the UK, The name of your character in the Chinese, the Hong Kong series of Bruce, the story of Bruce Lee, the Legend of Bruce Lee. What was the name of your character in that?
Oh my goodness. No, but I play a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah. Why I
is this what you're
asked?
talking about? Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, you're a Thai boxer in it. Yeah,
yes.
And obviously it was in Chinese originally, but on the English translation of the cast list, you're listed as King Charles.
Oh, right.
And of course, coronation is coming up in 2 days' time of
there you
the
go.
new King Charles.
Congratulations.
I bet but that's been brought up. So I just wanted to also get into that sort of, you've lived everywhere. You seem to have a lot of the world actually in your DNA. Around the time you would have been making that in sort of the 2008.
Remy, would you please repeat that? For whatever reason, the screen just glitched. So just the last I got was the DNA, and then you were saying something else.
I was just saying that working in Hong Kong at sort of would have been about 2007, because the Hong Kong film industry was huge, but with the handover to Chinese rule from like being a sort of free little pocket of to the rest of the world. I wonder what it was like around that period, because the handover had already happened, but it was still changing. So what were your memories of the industry in Hong Kong?
I've been to Hong Kong a couple of times, but only to prepare or to do interviews. I shot a movie in Shanghai called China Strike Force, and then we did the series that you're talking about, the Bruce Lee series, in, oh my goodness, a couple of different locations, but also in China. So I myself have not yet filmed anything in Hong Kong, but in China. And fantastic. I had a fantastic experience there, and my wife came to visit while I was shooting China Strike Force. And that was actually the same time I was shooting Brotherhood of the Wolf. Our schedule in Brotherhood of the Wolf went a little bit longer than expected. So in China Strike Force, I had a few weeks of break from Brotherhood. I flew to Shanghai and started working on China Strike Force. That's why in that movie I have very high cut hair on the side, because it was from my haircut in Brotherhood of the Wolf. So I was actually going from Paris to Shanghai, doing both movies at the same time towards the last month of Brotherhood.
Brilliant. Thank you for making that connection. That's fascinating. Great. And I also wanted you've branched out into so many different things. I mean, you're a sort of top entertainer now, never mind a martial arts superstar. You're on, Iron Chef is what we've just got over here. You're the latest series. But also your martial arts skills, your acting skills, you're kind of built for the superhero genre, which is kind of really, which is kind of really picking up now, obviously with the Marvel universe and the DC films. And you had a taste of that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You're in the TV fantastic series, again one of my favorites. It's lots and lots of twists and turns.
Yes.
You're one of the bad guys though, aren't you, in Hydra?
Yes, Guerrero with the telekinetic powers.
What was that experience like, working on television, American TV for Marvel?
It was fun. I knew about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. first through my kids, our kids, because they used to watch the show and they loved it. So when I was invited to join the series, I got a little bit of respect from the kids, just a little bit, so that's always helpful. But yeah, it was a joy to work with them. Really, obviously talented people, and a really nice, introduction into the, superhero, superpower world.
And sorry, I'm rushing a little bit because I'm aware that your time is valuable. And I'm going to bring it right up to date now. Then, following on from that, the new film, the Knights of the Zodiac.
Yes.
So you're glitching now. The Knights of the Zodiac. Yeah, that's kind of like is the superhero genre as well, really, isn't it? It's that kind of thing.
Yes.
But I also have read that you're a big fan of the Bruce Lee, Jet Li, old school, minimal wire work.
Yes.
What's it like now with green screen and motion capture? I mean, you've seen this change, haven't you? Roll through.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, it's really interesting because, what I'm hearing from people that have, seen the newest edition of Brotherhood of the Wolf is that for them, thus far, the movie holds up. And I think it's because we did more practical stunts and action sequences than technological, and I think that's the big difference is that, technology progresses so fast. And so what was state of the art 10 or 15 years ago, nowadays, in terms of, technology is outdated, whereas practical is practical and kind of can, go through all the lines and continue on. So yes, I've seen a lot of changes with green screen and wire work and CGI and all that. But, I'm old and I'm old school. So I like practical. I like practical, as much as possible,
For anyone who, I'm going to ask you a two-part question. For anyone who hasn't seen any of your movies, coming to Mark Dacascos fresh, what movie would you say they should see to appreciate your martial arts prowess, and which movie should they start with to see your emotional character, or is it the same one? But which would you say is your best acting role, and which would you say was your best martial arts role?
Okay. I think in terms of martial arts, just practical, maybe Drive. Probably Drive with Kadeem Hardison and Brittany Murphy, directed by Steve Wang, because that is just wall-to-wall action, and it's us doing Hong Kong style, taking hits. I was coming home with bruises all over the place, and proudly so. And then in terms of acting range, I'm very happy with. I'm actually thrilled with John Wick 3, just because I got to play intense, and he still has a sense of humor and respect, for Mr. Wick. And then it's not out yet, but I did season 3 of Warrior, based on Bruce Lee's concepts and executive produced by Shannon Lee, his daughter. And I really like the range that character had. Yeah, Warrior season 3.
For that. So working on, you brought up John Wick 3 then. Fellow Hawaiian.
Yes, Keanu. He's got some Hawaiian roots there.
Yeah, how was he to work with then, as behind the scenes?
I found him.
He always comes across, like yourself. He always comes across as a really, really nice guy. But
thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Keanu is. I was with him for 3 months in New York. He's working. He's #1 on the cast list. He's working more than anyone, and was still always so grateful and collaborative and kind. I found him to be as nice, if not exceedingly so, than what we hear, via internet and on the news. He's wonderful. He's just wonderful, and he works so darn hard, and still a nice guy. It's crazy.
Fantastic. Well, I'm happy to go on, but I think that's our allotted. Are you actually doing like a string of interviews now? Is it kind of
I am.
Press day?
Yeah,
I won't be too greedy then. And one final question, and then I'm going to press the bye-bye button, because your connection with Iron Chef and your round the world experience. what's your ultimate meal? If it was your
ultimate meal,
your last meal, what would you have?
Goodness. Okay, I have to tell you, working on Iron Chef, they fed me really well. But also, I'm very, I'm very blessed to have not just my wife, but also our eldest son having gone to culinary school. So chefs abound. My goodness.
The best cook then.
Oh my. Well, I've got Julie here staring me down, so you know the answer, Remy. It's Julie. But honey, what do you think you cook more for me than anything else? I mean, almost everything she makes is actually really good. But which dish do I request or talk? I mean, everything, she's so good that, when I try to drop weight, I'll say that I'm not going to eat anything. And then I smell something from the kitchen and she's made dinner for the kids, and then I always end up eating. What do you think my favorite meal is?
Your go-to meal?
Yes.
Like something healthy?
Yes.
You usually like a good homemade vegetable soup.
She said, and I agree.
Homemade croutons.
Yeah, my go-to meal is one of her homemade vegetable soups.
Sounds like good comfort food.
Yeah, that's my comfort food. Thank you. Yeah, probably also because it helps. She makes homemade croutons too. Oh my goodness, all that butter and it's crunchy. Oh yes.
Okay, Mark Dacascos, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and maybe chat again someday. So yeah, take care, and I look forward to seeing all the new stuff that's coming our way. And I have the 2-disc remastered Brotherhood of the Wolf I'm going to get stuck into right now. So
excellent. Thank you so much, Remy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.